we're going to talk about how good a job Chris Wallace did. Of all people, Chris Wallace. So let's go straight to video number 1, where Chris Wallace grills Ed Gillespie, Romney's advisor, on Romney's tax plan.
There are a lot of questions from independent people. How do you pay for it? And you refuse to say how you're going to pay for it.
What we have said is that we're going to pay for it with these by eliminating deductions and loopholes. 6 different studies have said this is entirely doable.
Very questionable. Some of them are blogs. Some of them are from the AEI, which is hardly an independent group. Those are not.
These are very credible sources. and
one of them is from a guy who is a blog from a guy who was a top advisor to George W. Bush. These are hardly nonpartisan studies.
Well, Chris, these, I think if you look at Harvard and AEI and other studies, are very credible sources for economic analysis.
You wouldn't say that AEI is a conservative think tank?
I would say that it is a right-leaning think tank. That doesn't make it not credible.
It doesn't make it nonpartisan.
It does make it nonpartisan. It is not a partisan organization, I can tell you.
So just to get this back, when something is right-leaning, that means it's nonpartisan. According to Ed Gillespie, when something is right-leaning, nonpartisan. And let me just give you the real facts on those studies. So he said, because Paul Ryan quoted that too, and I'm sure Mitt Romney's going to quote it again. 6 studies back up that the math and their tax plan actually works, which it doesn't, right? We've shown you clips of them not being able to answer that question. So here's the 6 studies that they quote. One study, of the studies, 2 are blog posts by the Conservative American Enterprise Institute. So just 2 blogs from AEI. One of the 6 is a report by the Republican-friendly Heritage Foundation. Now, if you remember the Heritage Foundation, they've been talked a lot recently because they're the ones who came up with the individual mandate on a health care plan that Romney based his health care plan on, then Obama. So they're that conservative think tank that comes out with all these conservative ideas. They're the ones he's quoting. Okay, the next one is a paper by a professor from Princeton and former George W. Bush advisor Harry Rosen. So very credible. Bush advisor, 2 right-wing think tank blogs. And the 5th and 6th are Wall Street Journal op-eds by Harvard economist Martin Feldstein, who's an advisor to the Romney campaign. Those are the 6 studies they're questioning as being... So that's what I'm talking about.
You know, Jimmy, I conducted a study on who is the best anchor at TYT when Cenk is not here. Yeah. And it's me and you.
That's what I thought. I
read that in your blog. By my wife, by your wife, my
yes.
daughter, and your cousin.
Yeah. Yes, those studies validate the math on his budget program the same way my bio validates me as the hottest up-and-coming comedian in the world. It's kind of like that, right?
But at least you guys finished with some kind of a fact on what it is. At least there's the fact that there's 2 people here, you and Steve O sitting here, and and we had our family come and conduct the poll. Right. In this case, they just said, we have no specifics on our tax plan. We want to hash that out later with Congress so it can be open and undisclosed. So how is it that someone actually backs up your plan when you keep saying you don't have a concrete plan?
Well,
what is it they're backing up? You just said there's nothing there.
Well,
yes.
Well, the part that they're backing up is a 20% tax cut for the rich.
Right.
They love that part.
Yes.
Everything else, well, we'll negotiate that later, but we want the tax cuts right away.
Right away, we want the tax cuts.
We want that. We're all in on those tax cuts. And you know what? I must say, Chris Wallace did a great job calling him out on it. I don't know if it was in that clip, but he says...
No, the next clip.
Is it the next clip?
Yes.
Where he talks about the candy. You talk about the candy, but you don't talk about the spinach.
Okay, so let's play the... Let's play the next topic. Can we talk the Brokaw clip? You want to do the Brokaw?
No, not yet.
I thought that's what you were talking about.
I'm talking about. Chris Wallace says to him, "Hey, you talk about the 20% tax cut, the candy.
Yes.
But then you don't talk about how you're going to pay for that, which is a spinach.
Right.
Well, I personally like spinach, so that's a bad analogy. But he makes a great point. So you guys are touting all the benefits of this plan, and yet refuse to even remotely specify what the costs are going to be. I just don't understand how anyone who is an adult can take this plan seriously. I mean, if I said to someone, hey, you know what, I'm going to give you a 20% raise, 20% tax cut, but I'm not going to tell you exactly how that's going to be done. Why would you believe that?
Well, it's because they're not. See, you and I, any sane person would know that this is BS, right? Well, they're not talking to us. We're not in the target market that Mitt Romney's trying to reach. You know who he's trying to reach? People who know nothing. People who don't know anything about Mitt Romney. They don't know the. I played a clip on my show last week of a woman saying she's an undecided voter, and she said I'm part of that 47% Mitt Romney's talking about, and I don't know who to vote for. You don't know who to vote for, and you know he's calling you the 47th, that you're a taker, that you'll never take response. So those are the people that this is aimed at, Steve.
I understand.
People so dumb they would vote for George Bush again if they could.
Look, this is why I'm very upset with the media in terms of their refusal to call Romney and Ryan out on this every single time. I mean, Chris Wallace did a great job here. I wish they would all do it so that the American people get the message, hey, these guys are full of shit. You can't just go around making these promises that you can't possibly keep. There's no way they can keep that. I mean, something's going to give. Either the deficit skyrockets, or we cut everything, and we just don't have any more infrastructure in this country. So, I mean, you can't get something for free. I mean, this is ridiculous.
So they've shifted the income in America from the middle class to the wealthy. It's trickled up, right? Trickle-down economics, which they instituted during Reagan, and we've been living under for the last 30, 35 years, has actually, the result of it has been a transfer of wealth from the poor and middle class upwards, right, to the wealthy. A massive transfer. And so now his tax policy is going to do the same thing. It's going to shift the burden of funding government from the wealthy to the middle class. And how is he going to do that? Everybody gets a 20% tax cut. No, everybody doesn't get it, because workers still pay their payroll tax, right? Which is still more money than Mitt Romney pays in income tax. So that's why that's wrong there too, for one reason. Another reason is they're going to get rid of stuff like, how are they going to pay for a 20% tax on the wealthy people? They're going to take working people's mortgage deduction away. That's how they're going to do it. So that's one of your biggest write-offs. If you own a home, you get to write off the interest you pay in your mortgage. Now they're going to get rid of that. And who does that hurt? That hurts working people. So that's how so again, this massive transfer of wealth from working people to people who don't work, the wealthy, the elite, the 1%, is going to continue under his tax plan. And that's the part that the media misses. That's the part that they're not talking about. That they do ask, I will give them credit, they do ask, how do you pay for this? How do you pay for that? They don't say, we know how you're going to pay for it, because you're going to end the mortgage deduction rate, because they won't say they won't do that, you know what I mean? They've asked them, so are you eliminating, you're going to say you're ruling out eliminating the mortgage deduction? And no, we're not going to rule that out. So that means that is how they're going to do it, right?
You're absolutely right. I mean, that's what they're going to do. What they're going to take away benefits, tax benefits for the top 1%?
Right.
Hell no. I mean, that's the whole point of this wealth transfer. So they're going to take away the home mortgage deduction. I mean, that's clearly what's going to be gone.
Yes.
Look, I mean, you know, one thing that frustrates me is that when you pay for tuition, that's not tax deductible. That should be deductible. Right?
I don't know. I don't have any kids.
Well, I think it should.
I think maybe you have kids. You have kids.
Anyway.
Should they be able to deduct my doggy training?
No.
Because I don't have kids. I have dogs.
No. Kids are better than dogs. Anyway.
You think? Kids are better than dogs? You really said that with a straight face?
I have a dog, and it's hard to. Well, the dogs don't understand everything you're saying.
Yeah, but they never ask you where you've been. They don't care, and every time you come home, it's like you just invented the wheel. It's great. I love dogs. If my wife treated me like my dog, I'd marry her.